November 8th. We are live on YouTube and Facebook. Live on moment of silence for our fallen NFL brother Marshawn Nealand, who died after a self-inflicted gunshot wound at the age of 24 years old. Very unfortunate. Marshawn had just scored a touchdown on Monday Night Football against the Cardinals. And listen, oftentimes you just do not know what's going on with a person. The mental illness is a condition that many people suffer from, and sometimes you just don't know. If you know someone and you think they're going through a hard time, please help them, or maybe direct them to help that they can receive. No 24-year-old should feel like there's no one else to talk to or no one to turn to. Marshawn Nealand, 24 years old, after a car chase, died of a self-inflicted gunshot wound. A very horrible story. Our prayers go out to his family and all involved, also to the Dallas Cowboys organization, his teammates and friends. Terrible story. Prayers to all involved there. Again, if you know somebody who is in need of help or struggling, please be a good friend, be a good family member, be a good human being, and just try to help them. Anyway, switching to sports. Last we convened was Monday evening in the Monday night pregame. I gave you two more losing picks, as I gave you the Cardinals in a teaser, which I should have just given to you straight, because you can never trust the Cowboys. And I also gave you the over, because I figured that Cowboys can't play defense, and of course that didn't come in. We had a awful week, going 1-5. After going 10-3 the previous 2 weeks, we were red hot. Well, we cooled right off. We were 1-3 on Sunday and 0-2 on Monday night. 1-5 last week. And we are now 31-32 on the season. We'll try to improve on that tomorrow when we do our NFL Sunday show at 11:30 a.m. We are 18-18-1 in the NCAA, and that's where we'll turn to today. Let's get to it. We did, of course, finish our full recap on the World Series and dotted the I's and crossed the T's and went through all the moments. And we did give you the Dodgers in Game 6, and we did give you the Dodgers minus 120 for the series. So we did go 2-0 in MLB, which I think are the only baseball plays I gave you since I've been on the air. Okay, 18-18-1 in college. We have a few we like today. Let's get to them. Again, we're just going to go over the notable games. Just the notable games. Noontime starts. James Madison 7-1 at Marshall. James Madison is a 13.5-point favorite. This isn't really a notable game, but watching Deion Sanders lose and lose again is always enjoyable to me. Colorado at 3-6 travels to West Virginia, and they haven't just been losing games; they've been getting their asses kicked. Two teams 3-6 going nowhere. SMU will try to build off of their victory over Miami last week as they travel to Boston College. SMU is minus 10.5. Here's a marquee game, although not as marquee as it used to be. Indiana, or it would have been, Indiana at 9-0, number 2 in the country, travels to Penn State, 3-5. The Nittany Lions, 3-5. Their coach has been fired. They are 14.5-point underdogs at home. Wow. The Georgia Bulldogs, this is also a noon start. The Georgia Bulldogs are a 9.5-point favorite at Mississippi State. Here's another good game. This is another marquee game. BYU 8-0 at Texas Tech, 8-1. Texas Tech is an 11.5-point favorite in this, and BYU is unbeaten. Another thing we're going to give you is the college football playoff released their official rankings. They reached their official rankings, and that was this week. They have Ohio State at number 1, Indiana at number 2, Texas A&M at number 3, Alabama at 4, Georgia at 5, Ole Miss at 6, BYU at 7 and Texas Tech at 8. That might be the juiciest game of the day, this noontime game here between BYU and Texas Tech. Oregon at 9, Notre Dame at 10, Texas at 11, Oklahoma at 12, Utah at 13, Virginia at 14, Oklahoma at 12, Utah 13, Virginia 14, Louisville 15. Vandy has dropped to 16 after their loss to Texas. Georgia Tech 17 after their upsetting loss. Miami has dropped all the way from what was once number 2, then to 6. Or they started at 6, then to 2, then down to 10. Now they are at 18 on the outside looking in. USC, who had a nice win last night, they're at 19. Iowa 20, Michigan 21, Missouri 22, Washington 23, Pitt at 24, and Tennessee at 25. That rounds out the top 25 in the college football playoff standings. Back to the games. Only notables. Ohio State, the number 1 team in the nation, is a 29.5-point favorite at Purdue. This is also a noon start. That's a 1 o'clock start, actually. That's the first 1 o'clock start. What else? No one cares about Bowling Green, Eastern Michigan, Missouri, Liberty. Ole Miss is like a 51-point favorite over the Citadel. Ole Miss 8-1. That's a get-right game where they just get to whoop up on the scrub today. Maryland, Rutgers. Nobody cares. 4-win teams going nowhere. Not a big day on the college slate here. Okay, so Syracuse travels to Miami. Miami is a 29.5-point favorite. Miami still has a slim chance to get in this thing, but they got to run the table, and I could see trouble lurking for them when they go to Pittsburgh the last game of the season. Definitely. The way Mario's teams play, they're so undisciplined. I could definitely see trouble for the Canes when they go to Pitt. Pitt is ranked, and Pitt is good, and they can score. You go into that and you make mistakes, you'll lose that game. But first things first, the Canes are 29.5-point favorites home to Syracuse. Syracuse is basically starting a lacrosse player at quarterback. They started a lacrosse player. They lost their starter, the Italian kid, I'm forgetting his last name, but he was actually playing well. They went to the backup, he struggled. Then they brought in a kid from the lacrosse team who played last week and played horribly. I mean, they lost 13-10 to hapless North Carolina. And now they come in to face a desperate Miami team who, if they don't beat this team by 35 points, I don't know what to tell you. TCU that was a 3:30 start for the Miami game. Another 3:30 start here is Iowa State at TCU. TCU is a 7.5-point favorite at home. Iowa State, who started off hot, has now cooled off to 5-4. TCU is 6-2. Here's another good game. Texas A&M at Missouri. Obviously, the Aggies are ranked 3rd in the college football standings. They are a 6.5-point favorite at Missouri. Texas A&M at Missouri. Oregon travels to Iowa. This could be a dangerous spot for Oregon. Let's see how they show here. A quality team they are, but against quality opposition, we shall see. They've been blowing out teams that they're supposed to beat. They only beat Rutgers by 2 touchdowns last week. They come in -6 at Iowa. 7-1 Oregon at 6-2 Iowa. That's another good game of the day. Texas A&M at Missouri. Oregon, Iowa. Those would be marquee games. Of course, a lot of people are going to watch the Canes because they draw well. Ohio State will pound Purdue, but a lot of people will watch that. BYU, Texas Tech. Georgia, Mississippi State. Those are games that will also be kind of marquee because they could be competitive. And a lot at stake in those games. Kansas at Arizona, battle of 5-win teams. Duke plays here in Connecticut, 5-3. Duke's still in the mix for some ACC action here. Auburn at Vanderbilt, 4-5. Auburn at Vanderbilt, 7-2. These are 4 o'clock starts now. Georgia State at 5-3. Coastal Carolina. Coastal is a 7.5-point favorite over hapless Georgia State, who's 1-7. Vandy is a 6-point choice over Auburn. That's nothing. No one cares about Stanford, North Carolina. Washington 6-2. Washington Huskies at Wisconsin. Washington's a 10.5-point choice. No one cares about Texas State, Louisiana, or Air Force San Jose State. Florida State travels to Clemson, a battle of two teams going nowhere. 4-4 Florida State at a surprisingly disappointing Clemson this year. Clemson is a 1.5-point favorite. Cal at 7-1 Louisville. This game has implications. Louisville is a 17.5-point choice at home. Cal is 5-4. Louisville 7-1. Wake Forest travels to Virginia. 5-3 Wake Forest at 8-1 Virginia. Virginia is -6.5. That is a 7 o'clock start, as is the Louisville game, as is the Florida State Clemson game. These are all 7 o'clocks now. Florida 7:30 start at Kentucky. Battle of 3 and 5 teams going nowhere. 3.5. Here's another marquee game with some at least market value. Anyway, these are high brands in the college atmosphere. LSU 5-3 at Alabama. Alabama is a 10-5 choice, fourth ranked team in the nation. LSU is now off the map. They have fired their coach, Brian Kelly. Alabama is 7-1, -10.5. Nobody cares. Here's a good one. Navy at Notre Dame. 7-1 Navy at Notre Dame. Notre Dame is a 27.5-point favorite. Wow, that's a lot. Navy 7-1. Nebraska travels to UCLA. Nebraska's 6-3, but they have lost their quarterback Manoa for the year. UCLA is -1.5. UNLV travels to Colorado State. UNLV is 6-2. They are a 4.5-point favorite. Sam Houston, Oregon, nobody cares. San Diego State, Hawaii, nobody cares. And that's it. That is it. That is the wrap-up. I would say some good must-watch TV. Notre Dame Navy is a good one. LSU Alabama is a good one. Let's see. I mean, I don't think Miami Syracuse will be a good watch because the Syracuse don't even know who they're going to play quarterback. Oregon Iowa is a good one. Texas A&M Missouri is a good one. Let's see. What else? Ohio State and Purdue is not a good game. BYU Texas Tech, that's probably the most competitive game of the day. And Georgia Mississippi State is going to be a better game than people think. Mississippi State, it's a rivalry, 5-4. Georgia 7-1. Georgia should take care of business, but I expect they'll get a little pushback. Indiana should slaughter Penn State, but that still has marquee value. Those are pretty much right there, the ones I just gave you. That's where you want to stay tuned into. Those are the most visible, high-profile games. Some will give you, some have a lot in play as far as circumstances and races in the conference, and some just for market value. Another thing I want to mention today, I have told you about the CFL before, a fun brand of football happening up north for our friends in Canada. Today, the Canadian Football League playoffs resume. These are the finals. The winners go to the Grey Cup. In the Eastern Final, the Montreal Alouettes travel to the 1-seed Hamilton Tiger Cats. The Alouettes are a 3-point favorite on the road at Hamilton. Interesting. And the BC Lions travel to Saskatchewan. The Montreal game at Hamilton is a 3 p.m. start. The BC Lions travel to Saskatchewan to play the Rough Riders. That is a 6:30 start. The Rough Riders are a 3-point favorite. I am actually going to pick the Montreal Alouettes in this game -3. I am picking that game. This is a good watch. You can find it on CFL Plus, and a lot of times the games are on CBS Sports. If you've never watched it, give it a watch. You'll love it. You'll enjoy it. So we're going to give you our college picks. We got a message coming in. Okay. I already gave those. They were asking for the college football standings. We already gave you the CFP 1 through 25. Rewind a little, John. Okay. Let's get to our picks for college. We are 18-1 on the season. I like a couple today. I like the Georgia Bulldogs in a teaser with BYU. BYU, I don't know. I feel like they're getting a lot of points at Texas Tech for a team that's played excellent all year and is 8-0. That means BYU will be plus 17 and a half, and Georgia will go from plus 9.5 to minus 3.5. So you need Georgia to win by 4 points, and you need BYU just not to lose by 3 touchdowns. I like Georgia Bulldogs and BYU in a teaser. This one's a little odd. I like Duke and Coastal Carolina in a 2-team teaser. Duke and Coastal Carolina. This again seems like an obscure game, but I am not a real believer in UConn. I'm not a big believer in UConn football. I know they're 5-3 on the season, and I know that Coach Moore has done a good job at least putting them on the map and giving them a schedule that's competitive for them. So Coastal Carolina is playing Georgia State, who they could barely field a football team. They're 5-3 at home, and they're a 7.5 point choice. So that would bring them to minus 1.5. Duke is here in Hartford playing UConn today at Rentschler Field. Duke is minus 7.5. That would put them at minus 1.5. I like Duke and Coastal in a teaser. I like Georgia and BYU in a 2-team teaser. And I am taking a 3-teamer. Indiana, Ohio State, Miami. This is a 10-point swing. This would bring Miami down to minus 19.5. This would bring Ohio State, bear with me, looking at my little teleprompter. You know, big radio shows, they have a girl behind a glass or a guy, an engineer, and just send you all this stuff. I got to do this myself. This is hard work here. Which reminds me, if you appreciate this hard work and the entertainment portion of this show, as well as the picks, which are, hot and cold. We try to stay above water. Please contribute to our Cash App and our Venmo. You can click on the link there. It'll take you right to it. Also, again, we always want you to like and subscribe. You look on the bottom there. Subscribe to our YouTube channel, North American Sports Report. Also, please subscribe. Subscribe to our YouTube channel, and please follow our Facebook page, North American Sports Report, as well as Billy DiNapoli on Facebook, Instagram, X, formerly known as Twitter. There's your link you could scan. Look below on the screen. We appreciate if you want to send a contribution via Venmo and Cash App. So back to the final 3-team teaser here. Ohio State was also 29.5. So that brings Ohio State and the Canes down to 19.5. I think they're going to run roughshod over those 2 teams today. And Indiana brings Indiana down to from 14.5 to, because they're playing Penn State, brings Indiana down to minus 4.5. So it would bring Indiana to 4.5 and Penn State and Ohio State and Miami 19.5. So that 3-team teaser. Indiana, Ohio State, Miami Hurricanes. The 2-team teaser, Georgia BYU, and Duke Coastal Carolina in a 2-team tease. Those are your 3 college football plays we are giving out today. That's going to wrap up our football for today. We hope everybody has a good day. We'll be back on tomorrow morning at 11:30. We'll do our full NFL Sunday show. I'm going to take a quick look at the National Hockey League standings. Some exciting games. I love me some NHL. I just want to keep everybody up to snuff on what's been going on in the National Hockey League. Atlantic Division Eastern Conference, the young Montreal Canadiens, although they've had trouble holding leads lately, they are 9-3-2 in first place, 20 points. The Red Wings, they got thumped by the Rangers last night. They are 9-6. 2 young teams. The Bruins played over their head. Most people have the Bruins for last place. They're 9-7. And then the Leafs are 8-5-1 with 17 points, 1 point behind the Bruins. Those are your top 4 teams. The usual suspects you would expect have started off slow. The Lightning at 7-5-2 with 16 points. And the Panthers, as expected, with the injuries they've dealt with, they are just over 500 at 7-6-1, 15 points there. That's your top 6 in the Atlantic. Senators and Sabres make up the bottom. I will say this. I expect the Panthers to get Matthew Tkachuk back in 6 weeks. And I'm telling you this, you heard it here. Sasha Barkov will be back for the playoffs, if not the last 5 or 6 games of the regular season. They did not put him on long-term IR, which means they can't use his salary. They can't pick up a Malkin or go after somebody like that. Even though the Penguins will no longer be sellers because they're another team like the Bruins who everybody thought they were in rebuild mode and going to be near the bottom of the conference, and they're kicking ass. Let's get to the Metropolitan Division. But yes, Barkov will be back. All the Panthers got to do is get in the playoffs, and then nobody wants to see them. Brad Marchand, by the way, has been red hot. And the supporting cast, which started off slow, like Reinhart and Bennett, are starting to pick it up. Lindell has been good, and Marchand has been good, but they haven't all followed suit. But they're starting to pick it up. But still, again, when you're missing an all-world player, one of the best players in the world like Barkov, and also Tkachuk, it's a lot. But all they got to do is get in. They get in, they'll be whole by April, and nobody's going to want to see them. They should get Tkachuk back by Christmas. So they got about another 5 weeks, another 6 weeks before Matthew comes back, another 6 weeks. Switching to the Metropolitan Division, the Devils, who I love the Devils. The Devils are 10-4. I picked the Carolina Hurricanes to win this division, and I obviously picked the Vegas Knights and the Panthers in the Stanley Cup Finals. But I did say if the injuries derail the Panthers, I'd like the Lightning and Vegas in the Cup Final. And both Florida teams are underperforming at this point. But I tell you what, in the East, along with Carolina, the Devils are right in the mix. The Devils could easily get to the Stanley Cup Final. I would not be surprised if they go deep in the East this year. The Devils at 10-4. Penguins surprising everybody at 9-4-2. Sidney Crosby is just ageless. Carolina, as expected, strong 9-4. A young Flyer team, 8-5-1. They're in fourth. So you've got 20 points for the Penguins and Devils, 18 for the Hurricanes, 17 for the Flyers. The Rangers just on the outside looking in at 7-6-2. They've played better lately, although they continue to struggle to score goals at home. It's unbelievable how much they've struggled at home. The Caps are 7-6-1 at 15 points. And the Jackets and the Islanders make up the bottom, 7-6 and 6-6-2, both with 14 points. The Islanders, though, Matthew Schaefer has been worth the price of admission. The kid has got, I do believe, 11 points. I believe he's 5-6 on the season, 5 goals, 6 assists. He has been stellar, and it's worth going to games again because he looks like that generational type of talent. The Islanders got the right guy in selecting Matthew Schaefer. Quickly in the West, Colorado Avalanche, 8-1-5 OT points. 21 points on top of the Central. The Jets are 9-5 with 18 points. The Mammoth off to a good start at 9-5, 18 points. The Stars have kind of stumbled through the first 14 games. They're 7-4-3. I guess not terrible, but playing well below their level at 17 points. The young Blackhawks with Spencer Knight playing amazing in goal. 7-5-3, 17 points. The Wild off a victory here in Long Island last night. 6-7-3 on the outside looking in. And the Preds and the Blues make up the bottom. 14 points for the Preds, 12 points for the Blues. In the Pacific, the young Anaheim Ducks, who have been outstanding so far this year, 9-3-1. The Knights, as expected, up near the top at second, 7-3-3 with 17 points. The Kraken playing surprisingly better than I expected anyway, 6-3-4. The Oil, another one of the elite teams that have struggled slow out of the gate, 6-5-4, also 16 points. The Kings, who I don't expect to be in the playoffs, 6-5-4. The Sharks playing better than I expected at 6-6-3. And surprisingly, the Canucks are near the bottom with 14 points. And the Flames, as expected, playing horribly at 4-10-2. Worst team in the league right now, the Calgary Flames. That's your NHL wrap-up. Enjoy the college football. Like I say, if you care to venture up north, take a look at the CFL playoffs today. Exciting brand of football. We will see you tomorrow at 11:30 in the morning. This is Billy DiNapoli for the North American Sports Report. Please follow us on Facebook. Please subscribe to our YouTube channel. We'll see you guys tomorrow morning. Everybody have a great Saturday. Bye, guys.